Welcome back to the Mobility Project, Christmas Eve mobility style. Brian McKenzie.
Hola.
He's at the house on Christmas Eve and he's here to steal presents. Actually, he's here to steal your performance-robbing characteristics. One of the things was happening today is we were having dinner. We were kind of talking about the fact that we reap the benefits of seeing all of the performance gains. We get all the emails about people PRing, setting records, working with world champions. That's great. We also get the dirty secrets of, were you picking your nose on them? What?
Yes, I was.
That's awkward.
It was actually a hair, but I'm like,
you're picking up your nose hair? So, seriously, the idea was that we were also talking about missing all the broken, I get all the emails about the broken people. And I know you get all the emails like, hey Brian, I like this CrossFit endurance thing, it's been really great. Can you help me with my knee pain when I run? Right? And so what we realized is that a lot of times right off the bat we see people making kind of fundamental type 1 base errors about the way they treat themselves as an athlete and about the kind of the way we recover. I just want to show you a couple things tonight that you should take right off the table. And we've talked about this before, we're going to talk about it again. But you know, Brian really put me on to the fact that I was drinking enough water, but I wasn't adding enough electrolytes. And so I just want to show you some things, kind of base things. So if you have an injury, and if you're sporting any kind of dysfunction, tissue level dysfunction, any injury, any mechanical deformation kind of thing, there's some things you need to just be square about. One, are you drinking enough water? And the official recommendation is how much water I need?
16 ounces for every pound of body weight loss.
So exercising, 16 ounces for every pound of body weight loss. What if I'm not losing any body weights? What if it's a baseline? How much do I weigh?
Take your body weight divided by 2.
Take your body weight divided by 2 and drink that in tequila?
Yes.
Check.
Tequila ounces.
Tequila
ounces?
Well, TM, that just happened.
Well, yeah.
Tequila ounces. The idea, though, is that we don't want to just bolus your system with a bunch of water. And this is an emergency, some easy things. We call this juice in our house.
I think something to add, though, is why we're seeing this is because what we're seeing is people are eating like this paleo lifestyle and going into this stuff, and yet they're doing workouts, multiples, or going even longer, and they don't have this stuff in their system because they've yanked all that out, right?
That's right.
And this is the fundamental thing that we're seeing across the board.
And from a performance nutrition, give me if I'm wrong, you treat nutrition separately than hydration.
Absolutely.
Those are separate issues.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right, but I mean, theoretically, I want to pay attention to what I'm drinking and the quality of the thing I'm drinking, and then treat my nutrition separately.
Yes.
I mean, theoretically, if I'm eating enough salt, then maybe I don't need to manage these things, comma, I'm obviously blowing out my electrolytes. What am I doing?
Correct, unless you're down on the ground cramping with your legs and hauling
Hey, that's not funny. All right, this happened. There's video somewhere in the world. Imagine everything cramping all at once. Bam! All right, dude, it's all about getting tight. So here's the deal. I am an Ultimate lover. It tastes good. It's easy. It's just basically essential electrolytes. What we don't want to do is see people with a bunch of sodium problems. But you've got to be doing this. So are you drinking enough water? If you have a problem and you're not drinking enough water, you don't have a problem. How serious is this? How simple is that, right? So that's number one. Number two, this is my frozen steak. We'll never eat this steak because the steak's been thawed and frozen 1 million times. And, you know, I got something that's hurting, the steak comes out. Your meat, its meat, together.
If you got a problem and you're not icing, you don't have a problem.
How simple is that? If you haven't iced twice a day, 2 times gets you a C, right? I know you're a bunch of C students. If you're not icing your problem, it's not a problem. It's very simple. So if you're going to see something or you've got something going on and you're not taking it seriously, ice till it gets numb, add a minute, then let it come up to full temperature again. Do not burn your skin like a caveman, okay? But you got to ice twice a day if you have a problem. Otherwise, you're just screwing around. And if it's an ankle or wrist or something, get that whole body part immersed in some cold water. Other thing you got to do is exercise causes inflammation, eating poorly causes inflammation, Starrett paleo causes inflammation.
What?
I know. And you can do what you want about this, but if you're not taking the fish oil, you're not a serious athlete in our estimation. And you're not being serious about your level of performance. You start to really burn it out, you got to be paying attention to details. This is Nordic Naturals, it's a great company. You got to take a bucket load of these. My wife sometimes takes the capsules because she has a hard time with the oil, but I don't like taking 16 capsules as a base dose. That's this handful here is 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, oh God, and that's a horrible amount. So I discovered this other company called Stronger, Faster, Healthier, and I love these guys because I get to take, basically I take 2 teaspoons twice a day, or I take 1 tablespoon, and it's not very much. This is mint, and I've literally kissed my daughters. My daughters ask for the mint after they eat the broccoli. Hey Dad, hey, we finished our broccoli, can we have the mint? And this is mint, it's very simple, it's cold in the fridge. Check out these guys. Mainly is that this is a great company, it really doesn't matter, except that you should be spending a lot of money on high quality fish oil. And for me, the Costco stuff always burps up. It's up to you what you want to do, but I have driven this on an empty stomach with black coffee, jumping around doing double unders, and I have no problem. That's
a lot? A little.
Well, that's one thing. My kids love this. My kids will never take this. So anyway, I want to point that out. And the reason is, if you're not on the fish oil, if you're not supplementing, you're not getting enough water, and you're not icing, you don't have a problem. So take that stuff off, okay? Okay, enough sermonizing. So we don't want to make those mistakes. On to the end one. 3 simple things today. One is, since we've got Brian here, he likes to run, I like to run, I'm the Cape Buffalo of running. I want to talk about something that people don't think about, and that's shoulder positioning, right? And we see a lot of faults down the streams when we think about running, but most of the faults, or we see a lot of faults that happen upstream. And one of those, right, bam, I'm such a good runner, broken. One of the things we want to do is, what's the arm position you guys recommend? I'm holding a couple potato chips.
Potato chips, 90 degrees or more.
90 degrees or more. 2 potato chips. Don't crush the potato chip. Don't drop the potato chip.
No problem.
And what you're going to see is that we know that in flexion, I'm working on external rotation. That tightens up the shoulder joint into a closed pack position. Right? That's our muscle up. That's the front rack. It also tightens up the lats and tris and back and ties that thoracic dorsal fascia. So if you're not tight in a good position, you're going to be loose and softy. And when we see internal rotation, we see a lot of rounded backs, a lot of sway, and so we can kind of tighten up the system, make the athlete a lot more efficient when we're here. So homework number 1 is to, let's give you something to kind of cue some better external rotation. So let's have you on your back, Rye. We can do the ultimate shoulder move here. And go ahead and hop off the mat for me. So we typically don't think about this for runners. Move the keg out of the way. I'm going to pull my arm straight. Whoa, keg. So I'm distracting his arm. And then I'm going to grab and hand the kettlebell. Remember that his hand, bring your hand over, and brace this arm with that hand. Right? You can go to the other side, probably easier. Boom. So this allows him to kind of keep the arm locked out, whatever you want to do. But in this position now, we're trying to get the kettlebell to approximate the back of the shoulder so we can improve flexion. And then Brian's going to externally rotate. So go ahead and externally rotate a little bit for me. Oh, there's the burn. And then come back. And he's just cueing. The same idea that we did the other night when we cued overhead for the muscle up. And he's just going to spend and try to cultivate about 2 minutes doing this, right? Each side. We're getting distraction in the capsule. We're getting approximation in the back. At the same time, we're cueing. And you'll see that his test-retest is going to be able to get into a much better external rotated strong position. So homework number 1 for runners. Let's get our runners' upper bodies prepped and organized, right? Check. Come on out. Ooh. Dismount. Thanks, DC. Right? Come on back up. And then just go ahead and just show us the difference between your external rotation left and right. Can't tell. Which side did you do again?
The left.
Right. Exactly. So you can see, obviously, that makes a big difference. Hey, this is so free. Movement options. Homework number 2 is that when we see athletes who are stiff to the upper back, we compensate by breaking and tilting the whole system. So I pull out my trusty keg, and I know you've got a keg in your garage, just like I do. So Brian's going to lay over the keg. This could be a foam roller, do something else. And we're going to do the keg drill. And this is the original name of the keg drill, because it came from one keg. So what is going to happen is Brian's arms are going to be straight. I'm going to support the load because it'll just break him. And this is kind of a partner drill. He's got his belly tight, see his rib cage down. He's just going to hang out here. And what we're doing is we're tying some thoracic extension into working that flexion. So we're getting some movement through all of these tissues that tend to get short and limit this overhead position. He can contract and then release. If he's by himself, I'll have him roll back towards me, lift your butt up really high, and put the kettlebell on the ground. Can you do that? And then apply the tensioner from the other side. Oh, money! And you can toy with that. Otherwise, we can kind of keep going back and forth through that. Find a different segment, roll towards me a little bit. Hold right there, belly tight. Hold and release. Try to get 2 minutes with a friend like this. I know you can do this over the hood of your car or a small child, right? Or a Cape Buffalo. Or a Cape Buffalo. You can hop on out of that, give me that thing. Release. Dismount. Perfect. And then the last one is that when we think about missing or overextended here, we tend to see overextended here. Those pieces go together, broken, and that can be tight anterior compartment of the hip, which means psoas. So the last load, go ahead and stick your leg behind there. This is the Bosman psoas stretch. Leg goes way behind. What's going to happen? So we're working on extension, and then Brian's going to brace off the door frame or the pole. He's basically going to lever off, and he's applying a rigid body, and he levers into that psoas or into that anterior hip structure. He can put his right arm over his head if he wants and make it super fun, right? Excellent. And because I'm a super friend, I can always come around and help him out with some of that pressure, right? And oh, hey, look at that. Look what a beautiful torture setup in my garage. Precious. So you get the idea, right? Can you see Silence of the Lambs right now with Shaka running around? Put Shaka in the basket. All right. Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys tomorrow.